He is 100% worth it.
He takes it to another level. Oh my God, I just fell in love with it.
Thanks so much, Jay.
Blew my mind. And it worked. I wanted to buy my thing.
Jay is, I would say, the Yoda of sales calls, man.
Just talking to Jay, he was so good at just taking what it is, seeing the opportunity and the value and the real reason we are making it.
Talk to Jay because he got it. He can definitely help you out.
Talk to Jay. You're going to get a lot. You're going to gain a lot.
I would absolutely recommend him for any position that you have.
Jay's definitely the guy.
Give him the chance, give him the opportunity. You won't regret it.
He's good at what he does, so I highly recommend him, and I would book him before he is fully booked out.
Welcome everyone to the sales. Cut through the noise. We ditch outdated sales tactics to show you how to close deals with confidence, strategy, and integrity. Hi, my name is Lee, and I'm the founder of Sales Ninja. As a former introvert, former pastor, high-ticket seven-figure sales ninja, I now get to help people like you grow and scale businesses without pushy tactics. And that's the heart of the reverse glass selling method, which is a driven approach taken from the Bible. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 15. And this is built on trust, service, and real connections. My mission is to help 1 million people break the cycle of generational poverty that you can sell more to give more. Today's guest is redefining what it means to live well and age strong. My kind of guy already. For 30 years of experience as a holistic health practitioner, entrepreneur, and speaker, he's helped countless people transform their bodies, minds, and energy through sustainable, science-backed wellness. He is the founder of Bodies by Design, where he empowers others to overcome burnout, balance their hormones, and unlock lasting vitality, proving that true health is years to your, but life to your years. We're digging into aging into reverse, hormone health, and the mindset behind lasting transformation. So get ready, get set to be inspired by Eric Mabie. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing great. Love the intro. Thank you so much for that. That was great.
A lot. So we've got a lot to talk about. We were talking off stage and how you visited Canada, Vancouver, particularly in first time. And I don't know if you have skiing background. I know you're an athletic guy. There's a big difference between, you know, being athletic, which is awesome, but not really growing up skiing and going to Whistler to go skiing. So did you have any background skiing at all or no?
I've skied 3 times in my entire life.
Okay. So for those of you who are tuning in live or watching the pod or listening to the podcast later on, I had the opportunity to go to Blackcomb Whistler, and that's 10,000 feet. Okay. And if you are someone that's gone 3 times, typically people do what Eric does. They don't usually go to like a 10,000 foot mountain and try to get down that because it could mean a lot of hurt, damage, broken bones. So what made you go to one of the tallest peaks in Canada, going from skiing only 3 times to tackling Whistler Mountain?
Well, I was inspired by 2 friends that I met from Vancouver, and they just said, "Hey, you got to go to Whistler Blackcomb. It's got some of the biggest runs in North America, and I am a firm believer to hire coaches for everything that I'm not great at." And so I don't even go onto a slope without lesson day 1 and work with a professional. The gentleman had been teaching skiing there for multiple decades. He knew every nook and cranny. He assessed my physical ability and my skill level combined and worked with me for an entire day to get me prepared to ski on my own for the next 3-4 days.
Wow. Okay. So how was that? Was that a bucket?
At this stage in my life, I really want to learn how to ski. Skiing and golf were sort of those 2 sports that were not available to me growing up. And now that I can do it, I want to learn. I want to get better. I want to progress. And so I'll be coming back this year as well. And
where to Whistler?
Yeah, I love it.
Look at you,
love it.
repeat offender.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, did you get your butt kicked, or how'd you do?
I did. Again, because of great coaching, I was able to progress myself gradually and safely. And the point of physical exercise is to prepare your body for more than what the life is going to throw at you. And so even my coach mentioned, like, wow, your conditioning and your stability is way better than your skiing. And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, that's a nice way of saying you, but you're very healthy.
Exactly. And so I knew that through my athletic training, I could keep myself safe enough and ski at my level. And then again, use common sense, use calculated thought to, I'm not doing double black diamond moguls. I'm not doing heli-skiing. And, eventually I want to progress to where I can enjoy most of the whole mountain.
Okay. Interesting. Because I live in Canada. I'm in Toronto. So I grew up skiing and snowboarding, and you're in Florida, 3 decades. And I go to Florida every year because of family vacation, and I love golfing.
Yes.
So we're kind of like opposite lives.
Yes.
I tried golfing for like 15 plus years, and it's a love and hate sport. There's days where, I hit the ball, it keeps me coming back. And then most of the times I'm not hitting the ball well, and I want to snap my clubs or throw my clubs into the water. So like you, we're very similar. I said, okay, I need to like suck it up, like I went swing assessment, golf swing, and there were KPIs on the video monitor. And he says, of the 28, 4 are in line and 24 are out of KPI. So I was like, okay, so you're saying there's a chance, right?
Exactly.
And he took the next half an hour to fix my swing, which is a free assessment. This is a lead magnet, and this is a great way for you and other people who are listening to get enroll a client. So he said, here's a 30-minute assessment to help you get maybe 4 more KPIs in line. So now I've got of those 24 or 8 of those 28 KPIs. And then he took me from a 160-yard 200 draw in 30 minutes. And I'm telling you, they're golfing for over 15 years. I've never seen the ball go more than 200 yards straight, let alone 250 yards with a baby draw. So I was sold. So, but the thing was this, I try to rationalize because I'm cheap. I figured, I could figure this out on my own, right? Because I did a 30-minute thing. Now I got to draw a baby draw that I can drive with on the golf course. So he's like, I'm booked 3 months straight, and he showed me his calendar, but I got 1 slot open. I said, can I think about it? He goes, you're going to lose a spot by this afternoon. And I'm like, okay, here's my credit card. So I ended up a lot of money, and I had 10 golf lessons later. I went from like 105. I hit 80 or 78, 80 this year for the first time, which is like, that's like 20, 25. No, was that like 25 strokes, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
I want to get out there. Now my whole thing is golf. So like I love snowboarding in the winter because it's getting colder. But I'm thinking, how can I get more clients so I can golf more?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about your golf game, because conditioning, you're a health coach. How has that helped you?
Yeah, everything that I can translate my physical well-being to doesn't translate well for me in golf. And I also golf. Most every other sport I've participated in, I can really adapt quickly. But golf is an entirely different animal.
Right.
It is almost like chess versus skiing. Skiing is just another gross motor units, but golf has so many nuances that it doesn't matter if you're the fittest person on the planet. There's no adaptation that really helps other than just being flexible. But other than that, it doesn't matter. There's my stepdad is almost 80. He has two shoulder surgeries, 2 knee surgeries, a back issue. He had polio in his leg when he was a baby, and he can whoop my butt on the golf course because he plays 5 days a week.
He plays every day?
Yeah, he lives in a golf course. He lives in a golf course community, so he just walks outside and goes and plays every day. But it won't translate to Blackcomb. He'd blow out both of his knees and his hips. So, I golf about 6 times a year. I love it. Both my kids golf, and it's incredible for me. It's about time and connection, and then I get the best I can until I'm willing to commit the time to practice more.
I bet with your conditioning experience, you could be long drive or like help people hit longer, because there's this elusive dream. The golfer knows, that golf, like, and one of the biggest things, at least for me, because I was such a terrible golfer, was when I was stepping up to the tee, and there was like, a group of 4, some maybe in front of us, maybe 80s, whatever. Yeah. And then be waiting because they're not far. All my buddies would be like, hey, you're the shortest off the, so you might as well just hit because you can't reach them. And that was true, but it hurt and it stung for years. And I couldn't play well, I couldn't score well, I couldn't hit long. So I'd be the guy that stood up because I couldn't hit, I couldn't reach them, and they were only like 200, 100 yards. I'd still be short by like 20 to 30 yards. So there's something about what you do, like a gig, where you could help people strengthen. You may not even be a great golfer, but help them get speed and velocity and power and those muscle touches, right?
Correct.
There's a huge market out there for golf.
Yep. And I work with athletes, Olympic athletes, pro athletes. I've worked with PGA Tour players. I've worked with.
Oh, you have?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I've worked with every professional sport on the planet, basically.
Wow.
And so again, I don't teach the skill, but I teach the biomechanics. And so deep abdominal wall work, which is one of our specialties, that is the secret sauce. So the expression is that you can't fire a cannon if you're standing in a canoe.
Whoa.
So you have to build a battleship within your inner stabilizers to support the power of your external muscles. And so that's what I do for my pro golfer. I mean, anyone, any sport, you have to have that internal battleship of stabilization. Okay. Strength, power, none of that matters if you don't have the stability to support it.
Wow.
So that's where
I heard you say you cannot fire a cannon while being in a canoe, and you have to build.
Yep. Because you fire that cannon in a canoe, you're going to flip the canoe.
That's right. Sounds like my golf swing.
Exactly. The canoe can't handle the power of the external muscles. It's like putting 600 horsepower into your car without changing the suspension, the tires, the lugs. You have to upgrade the inner system first, then develop the outer system. Wow.
So let's talk about health. Let's talk about adding to people years and years to the. What was your personal story? Were you always kind of in, six pack, or what was a turning point that shaped that mission for you?
So my personal story is, yes, I have always been obsessed with health and wellness, health and fitness and wellness. Literally at age 7, I started really paying attention to like, wow, how many push-ups can I do? How many pull-ups can I do? By age 11, I started studying kinesiology, weightlifting. Then I got into wrestling, started studying nutrition. And by the time I was 18 years old, I already had adults paying me to teach them what I knew. Because I started studying at 11, built a workout bench with my dad out of wood from my garage.
Out of wood?
Out of wood, a wooden weight bench. Yep. Old school. And then by 18, people were just asking me for help. And so at that point, this is where it transitions into the optimal health and longevity, is that fitness is not the same as health. And my grandparents at the time were they were aging into their 70s, and they started to have rapidly declining health. They were on one more medication every time they went to the doctor. They were about 75 years old. And I'm like, this is not okay. And so I began working with them on making small, consistent lifestyle changes that had dramatic results. And within 3 years, at age 78, they were off all their medications, and their doctor said, "You're aging in reverse." And I was like the light bulb went off, that it does not have to be this big, dramatic, it's not sexy. It's just the 4 pillars of health are air, water, food, and sleep. Those are the 4 pillars that I teach. And if you learn how to optimize each of those 4, you will thrive at any age. And so my grandmother lived almost 92, and my grandfather literally lived until the day he died at 85.
Wow. Yeah, so
and they both got to enjoy great grandkids. I mean, it was amazing, amazing.
What pillars again? 4
pillars: air, water, food, and sleep.
Okay. Can you break that down a bit? Because
yeah,
that's
so
I think
the 4. Yeah,
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah. So basically, the 4 things, because everyone thinks fitness and working out and it has nothing to do with wellness and well-being. And so if you look at the 4 factors that literally give life to you, okay, without 3 minutes of oxygen, you're dead. Without 3 days of water, you're dead. 3 weeks of food, 3 months of sleep. You have to master. And then here's the thing. To the degree that any of those 4 pillars are compromised is to the degree that you will start to downregulate gradually over time your health. And oxygen, everyone overlooks because we take it for granted, but oxygen is what gives life to your brain, circulatory system, your immunity. Disease has been proven to not coexist with oxygen. That's why they have hyperbaric chambers. And so teaching people breath work is not sexy and cool, but it is essential. Teaching people how to optimize their water intake and drink proper amounts of water every single day. Nutrition is the most complex of them all, and then getting proper sleep. And since the advent of smartphones, it has devastated human health because it's disrupting the whole planet's sleep cycles. And I've seen that in the last half of my the last 15 years of my career, I've dealt with more sleep disorders than I ever dealt with in the first 15 years.
Okay. So let's go back a bit. There are some that you draw that I want people to capture. You talked about 4 pillars: air, water, food, and sleep. And you talked about the number 3 in context with water, food, and sleep. Can you repeat the number of the time for each?
Can you repeat the question? Repeat what about for each?
Yeah, so you talked about the 4 pillars: air, water, food, and sleep, and you talked about 3 air. You can with a certain amount of time for each of these pillars.
Yeah, and that's how I prioritize the totem pole of importance. And that's all. I just number them in sequence because without each one, it proves and validates the essential nature of each one.
What were the numbers for each? The time?
3 minutes without oxygen, your brain dies. 3 days without water, the cells die. 3 weeks without food, and then the third one I kind of make up to keep the 3 months without sleep, and your body's going to shut off.
Yeah, that's so helpful. I love things that you can remember that you just say really easily because it's memorable, and that's what can help habits become lifestyle, right?
Exactly.
Now, in your do you help people with disorders because of smartphones? Like, do you just go cold turkey and no phones after 8 o'clock?
No, yeah, it's all about, number one, education. They have to have buy-in in their own mind, otherwise it's going to stick. So at first I have to help them understand what phones and blue lights do to their nervous system, due to their adrenal and hormonal systems, and due to disrupt their sleep. So first it's educate. Then it's calculate how do we improve sleep hygiene for you? And then the third part is implement. And then after implementation, then we have to troubleshoot it. So, okay, they start to implement, I tried to do this, but then I got an email, or my husband snores, or the dog was barking. So how do I overcome that? So we have to troubleshoot, or I fell asleep great, but then I woke up in the middle of the night. All very common issues that people face once they start working on implementing.
Because I know you work with elite athletes, and you talked about hyperbaric chambers. You look at cryogenics with either cold plunges or those, cryogenic chambers. And then the third thing, I'm just throwing a whole bunch of things out here, and you can comment on any one of them. I see elite athletes when they try to recuperate from like a lot of physical intensity. Shout out to the Blue Jays and LA Dodgers. They're going 18 innings the other day, and then another game yesterday, and another game. Like, I think they were in some sort of like, I don't know, bodysuit, or their legs were compressed in some, I don't know if it's a hyperbaric chamber. Can you explain the technology? I think someone who is maybe uneducated like myself and, our general audience, we don't know what's good marketing and what's actually healthy for you.
Yeah, and that is where the 4 pillars, you have to start with simple and basic, because you have to master the basics first. And because the world is lost in a sea of complexity, they don't know where to start. They don't know what to do. But so a lot of that could be compression sleeves, which help with circulation, reduce inflammation. That's the main thing of what those are used for. And if you're not hydrated, if your body's inflamed from garbage food, if you haven't rested well, and if you're not breathing properly, you could have all the compression sleeves on in the world. It's not going to do that much. Those little nuances represent 2% or 5% of benefit. The other 95% is in the 4 pillars. And people give too much time, attention, and money to things that don't move the needle significantly. Like, people will spend, I've had people come to me after $100,000 plastic surgery, and 3 years later, they've kind of put the weight back on. Their joints are still aching and inflamed. It's because they didn't do anything. They spent all this time and money and recovery and blah, blah, blah without changing the 4 pillars. And the key is to master the basics. Then if you want to explore the other components, go ahead and explore, but you can never override the 4 pillars.
So let's talk about air and water, because I need them, and obviously we need the nutrition / like food and sleep. Like, I've got an Aura ring, that tells you, and then I got this with Dave Asbury, the True Dark yellow and red glasses. Is this all basically a big marketing ploy, or we're using helpful? This may be controversial.
Yeah, it's so things like the Aura ring or the glasses. Again, when you really master it, so I just want to be transparent. Number one, if it doesn't cause you harm, then that's a positive. There are a lot of products out there, or supplements especially, that are actually absolute garbage, and they do cause harm.
Yeah.
If the Aura ring helps you become conscious of your sleep, that then causes you to seek health hygiene or sleep hygiene habits that improve your sleep, great. It's absolutely great. You just want to make sure that you don't put too much confidence in any device, because your own inner wisdom is more intelligent than any device you could ever wear.
Yes, good point.
Oh, I got you now.
Okay. Regarding air and water, I've heard different things with like osmosis or air purifiers, or like if you buy the $20 machine, it's gonna help your vegetables better. I've seen like the demonstration. What kind of garbage, like, because of pesticides and chemicals on apples, and it's very disturbing. Oh.
Yeah. So these are So to keep it simple, when it comes to water, I'll start with water because it is the most simple. if you're going to buy water, there's only two types of water you should buy. Number one is it's either artesian or spring. So like your Fijis and Evians or your Zephyr Hills or Glacier, or again, it's the two categories. It must say artesian or spring water if it's coming from a bottle. If it doesn't say artesian or spring, and it's got things like alkalinity of 9, electrolytes added, that's all garbage. The only two waters to buy are spring or artesian. Artesian, yeah, and it's just like Fiji water is artesian water.
Okay.
Voss, I believe, is artesian. Evian is artesian. It's the difference between a deep water aquifer, a deep well aquifer, or a spring.
Okay.
So those are the two distinctions, but those are the only two waters to buy. And then if you're going to filter it at home, so I put in a reverse osmosis water system. That's what I drink out of. However, reverse osmosis strips away all of the essential minerals, or total dissolved solids as they're called, because it's the only system that pulls out chlorine and fluoride. It doesn't matter if you have a $10,000 system, it's not going to do it. So reverse osmosis is very relatively inexpensive to put into your home, and you will own it for decades. You just have to change the filters. After I strip my water of anything good and bad, then I remineralize it with a pinch of Celtic or Himalayan salt. And I rotate the types of salt that I use, but I make sure that it's a comprehensive salt, not table salt, but it's a real salt, because those salts have 70 to 80 trace minerals in them. So that's the thing. You can make it simple. All the other stuff, it's garbage. It's all garbage. So it's either spring or artesian if you're buying bottled, or reverse osmosis, and then you remineralize it with a Celtic or Himalayan salt. And that's it. Everything else is just noise.
But how do you know what kind of reverse osmosis water system to buy? Because like some work, some don't work.
If it's designated as reverse osmosis, it's going to be a reverse osmosis. So that's yeah.
So you saying I can go to like Amazon and designate a reverse osmosis water filter system?
Well, then you have to be able to install it, and usually a plumber installs it because it's got to hook up to your water line and run through properly. So that's all outside of my pay grade. I don't do any installation, but if you buy the proper system, have it installed properly, you're good to go.
Okay, because I like to be active. I like to, like you, and have infinite amounts of energy, because I have 3 kids. I coach all their soccer and volleyball teams. I'm coaching, my son's volleyball team today. I was coaching my daughters yesterday. So like 4 times a week, and also playing the sport.
Yeah.
I'm not getting younger, so I'm always looking for supplements. I've had whey protein, creatine, energy drinks, and with the cost skyrocketing, and the power of marketing, sometimes I succumb, and I'm tempted to the what do you call it, the Costco's, because of volume and pricing. And I'm guessing that a lot of that stuff is not the best. Whey proteins are good for you, taste, and at a reasonable price, like whey protein, creatine, even energy drinks to remove brain fog, to give you the I'm not taking Gatorade, trying to look for things, or the proper ingredients. What would you say to that?
Yeah, everything, again, when you start getting into ingestibles, you really have to look at what is the source of this food, what else is in it, because certain things could be inherently healthy, but then they put in a bunch of garbage and chemicals, fillers, colors, additives, artificial sweeteners. All of those things are unnecessary along with it. So my general philosophy and principle, again, master the basics. So are you drinking the optimal amount of water every day? Are you getting adequate sleep every day? And are you eating a whole food organic diet as much as possible? And if you are doing all of those things, then exploring supplements is okay. But you always got to revert back to the fundamentals, because that's where your energy lives and breathes.
Actually, I was talking to another health, and it kind of boggled my mind, because my idea of like for example, animal, right? We used to always carve it, throw it out or whatever. When I was in first year university, didn't know health, and I just loved like steak fat. I would literally because I was a Christian and I was a former pastor, and an example of how I was kind of like, and all my steak fat, because they were like very like gym rats. They were creatine, glucosamine. They were taking protein whey. They were doing egg whites. And I was like the guy that was like, I don't care. I'm just kind of, the steak fat, I would do like, I say, here, put it on my plate. I'll eat it. And I would take all their steak fat and as an offer, like a doc. And then I found out later from one of my friends, coach, he says that if it's sourced properly, is actually really, really good for you. Can you, because I'm confused.
Yeah. So I do agree with your friend in that. So toxicity in animals is stored in fat. So if you have non-organic, non-grass-fed meat, I would not eat the fat. But if you're having a grass-fed, sustainably raised, organic meat, then the fat is okay. And we get into some specificity, because I want to be sure there are general principles, but when I work with clients one-on-one, I can get into real specifics, because you have generals like toxicity of animals is stored in fat. Okay, so that's a general. However, certain people are, based on their metabolic type, better to digest and metabolize fat than others. And so just because something is healthy in general doesn't make it appropriate for a specific person at a particular time in their life. And so we have general health principles, then we have specific to each individual.
Okay. So like when I think, and maybe educate me on this, because if I go to my general grocery store and I get this, steak that, and I've seen studies where they've colorized it, they put artificial, I don't know, things to make it look like it, but worms and parasites, it's been aged and whatever, sell it, and that's kind of the fat I'm going to eat off of a steak, right? So how can we ensure that it's grass-fed, it's organic? Because sometimes even the labels at Whole Foods start to say that they are, but they're really not.
So the labels, food label laws are complicated. And so, for example, like at Costco, they will sell a ground beef that says 100% organic, which It might be, but it's not. But what it does not say is that it's 100% grass-fed.
Mm-hmm.
And those words, and this is where it is complicated for the consumer, because in those subtle verbiages, one word means one set of criteria and the other word means another set of criteria. And it's just a part of the ongoing learning. And so when I saw that Costco had 100% organic beef for whatever price it was, I'm like, it doesn't say grass-fed. So I called the company. I said, is this grass-fed and grass-finished, or is this grain-finished organic beef? They're like, no, it's grain-finished, which validates the fact that they're getting the organic label, but they're not putting 100% grass-fed. These are where we're splitting hairs into, you just have to be in the game, constantly learning and knowing to be able to differentiate labels like that.
So for you, someone who 5,000, clients in 30 years, do you source yours like from farm to table, or how do you do it?
So yeah, because I have a facility, everything that I consume, I buy into my shop. So I have like a wellness shop that I sell all the stuff that I consume. So I buy my own grass-fed beefs. Everything that I consume, I buy in volume and sell to my clients.
Come on, Deal?
Yeah, everything that I do in my life, everything that I sell, I actually do.
Okay, so when you say you have a wellness shop, like you have your physical.
So I have a brick and mortar holistic health facility that we do, for our clients that are not virtual, we work with them at my facility. And in my facility, I have my own like mini store with all of the products and food that I eat on the most regular basis.
So you sell organic, grad meats,
Yep.
fish, supplements.
Yep.
Huh.
And to a degree, because I'm not a grocery store, I really, I have about, 10 to 12 food items and then a handful of the various products that I carry as well.
And do they get in person to get, or can people order online?
Yes. So I don't sell the food on my online store, but at ericmabie.com, I have a whole catalog of the actual supplements that I take and that I recommend to my clients, and they can order them straight from ericmabie.com.
Have you wiped them, or do you just buy and sell them in volume?
What was the first part? Do I what them?
Labeled them and made them your own?
No.
Or?
Looked at all that. No, I just let the people, because I don't have any alliance to any one brand. I look for the single best product. Like I invented a protein bar. And yep. Thank you.
Did you say you invented a protein bar?
I did 16 years ago when I started children. I saw that. Oh, there's a lot of feedback right now. All the food bars are heavily processed or low sugar. So I just took it on, create my organic whole food protein bar, and I took it to, and got the sugar down to about half of the current best organic food bar. And because of my experience in food, that bar is the bar in the world at that time. And so I look from companies like that, the Vital Planner, that probiotic.
Yeah.
The founder of that company has been in gut health for over 50 years. She is the pioneer of that product. Most of the companies are just businesses. So I look for products that passion behind from a founder who walks the walk, walks the talk. Not just companies trying to sell you garbage.
Ooh, that Go Macro bar looks pretty yummy.
That's pretty good. I carry the Aloha bars.
Raspberry white. Yes, please.
But it's those are all different companies. But those are the best in their.
Okay. Wow, this is super helpful. Gut renew, leaky gut, protein. Do you take all these things?
Do I take? No, I take 7 to 8 products a day. All of them whole food or plant, or like the mushrooms, like the mushroom nature. But it's a part global repertoire things that I might need over the course of a year. The majority of my clients.
So talk to me about bone broth protein.
Yeah. So I don't subscribe or recommend people for any dairy products.
Okay.
And so protein, heavily processed protein coming from dairy. And so bone protein, as far as a supplement goes, is one of the better of protein, I believe, to be usable by the body, toxic, still processed, which means I would recommend filet mignon or wild over that, but to help boost people's protein levels if they're going to supplement that.
I don't know what it's called, but it's a blue liquid. I don't that when you take it, your tongue looks all blue. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, but anything that makes your tone color.
Okay. So there's a lot of things here. Okay. Wow. Okay. This is amazing. Okay, so cool. Thank you for what have been some of the most like transformative that you've been able to get? Because I know you have 5,000 clients, so I'm sure you have a lot of different cases. What have been the most memorable one?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So I'll kind of start in reverse. I love when people think that they can't become healthy and fit without some rigorous, intense exercise regimen or hardcore dieting. And I have a woman that was in her mid-60s. Her daughter was getting married. She was just in a car accident. She had she had just recovered from a fractured clavicle. She had a bunch of orthopedic issues going on. And so I built again, 4 pillars plus corrective exercise, which I do a lot of intense rehabilitation with people, whether it's spine injury, brain injury, general orthopedic injuries. And she was devastated that because of the car accident, she couldn't get in shape enough for her daughter's wedding.
Oh my, yeah.
And we started upon this journey. It was about 8 to 12 weeks. I don't remember the exact time. She lost 28 pounds doing 4 pillars plus corrective exercise to help rehabilitate her body. Nothing drastic, wasn't any boot camps, no cardio, no extreme dieting, just consistency of mastering the basics of the 4 pillars.
Wow. You say 28 pounds in like 6 weeks?
28 pounds, yeah. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. She just was in tears at the end of it because she didn't think it was possible because of all of her injuries. And the misconception that you need rigorous exercise to be healthy and fit is you know, it's so indoctrinated into our culture that people don't feel that there's no hope. And I let her know, listen, we can do this. It's not hard. It's not simple, but it might be hard because it's the 4 pillars.
Amazing. So, you know, we know health, wealth, and relationships are the biggest pillars for our lives. You know, and you talk about reverse. So something that is hard to combat against is white hair and wrinkles. So what are some daily habits or supplements or creams? And this is the whole against marketing, because there's, you know, a multi-billion-dollar selling, you know, collagen or like creams to say, hey, you know, get rid of those wrinkles and you get rid of the white hair. It's called dyeing, right? Which is you're dying, you're killing it. So what are some things that you, because you're a reverse aging, you know, specialist, that to combat, you know, age, there's white hair and all like the more important parts, which is like bone density, muscle, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Great question. So number 1, regarding wrinkles and bone density, I'll speak to those first.
Yeah.
It's that hydration. You know, collagen's fine. If you eat a adequate protein-based diet, you're going to get all of the amino acids that collagen has anyways into your diet. So you can get all of the collagen amino acids through just a balanced nutrition plan. But number 2 is hydration and stress and sleep. Okay. It's the stress of life that causes the disintegration of your body and your cells. So chronic dehydration, chronic stress, and chronic sleep dysfunction will absolutely accelerate aging in your body and in your skin.
Right.
And so poor hydration, again, it's just overlooked, and most of the planet is chronically dehydrated because they don't drink enough water and they overconsume caffeine and or alcohol. So and all of those highly acidic foods also rob your body of the bone minerals that cause osteopenia, osteoporosis. So the acidity in food and coffee and alcohol all suck minerals out of your bones. So mastering, again, it comes back to the 4 pillars. Then you add in resistance training that also, of course, has been proven to improve bone density or slow bone loss. So those are again, it comes back to that. Regarding gray hair, I haven't, the only thing I've ever seen, and this was in a food science course that I took, is like, I think it's black sesame seeds. I don't have any real science around hair gray, but I do feel stress can contribute to that. And so again, breath work helps to reduce stress. Proper sleep helps to reduce stress. So lowering stress levels, I feel, can assist with that. So those are the things regarding the physical components of aging.
Very interesting, because I think a lot of people try to sell people things like, you know, in terms of like supplements or, you know, products. What you're prescribing is back to the basics, you know, the 4 pillars.
Every time.
Air, foods. Not a lot of people teach that. Not a lot of people educate people on that. They're just trying to get you to do something or do something. You know, here's my white label product that's guarantee you, you know, less white hair, and if you're bald, you're gonna grow hair. You're gonna have hair where you never even had hair. You know, weird stuff, right? So I love your approach on this. Let me just question, because we're our time part. There's so much under the I want to ask, but we just don't have time for. What's been in your 30 plus years of being an expert in the health and wellness industry? What's been the big misconception that you've seen about aging and energy?
My expression to this is that it doesn't matter how hard you're rowing your boat if you're rowing it in the wrong direction. Okay, if you're looking that way for the answer, but the truth is behind you, there's a veil of deceit blocking you from discovering for yourself the truth beyond vitality and longevity. And it doesn't exist. Number one, it's not genetic. Epigenetics every single year validates that what you are and who you are and what your health is not a destination determined by your genes. That is garbage, and it is being proven more and more and more. Again, the study of epigenetics proves that it's not your genes, it's your mindset and your lifestyle that determine your well-being and longevity. Now, are there the 1% or 2%? Yes, of course. Nothing exists in the universe as an absolute. However, 98%, 97% is determined by your thoughts and your habits.
Percent?
I'm going to say 97%.
Wow. 97% of your thoughts determine your habits. Is that what you said?
It's your thoughts and your habits that determine your health outcomes.
I see. That determine your health outcome. Because I know people that are loved ones of mine, in them. It's hard, and it's like kind of like some of them have not ever worked out a day in their life, at least not since like when they had to in school.
Yep.
And weight loss, I mean, not weight loss, there's weight gain, there's, you know, complications, there's bone issues, there's joint issues, there's nerve issues, there's diabetes issues. And the hardest part for, you know, someone who loves them is wanting to live longer and live healthier and live without pain. But many times from people that I love are like, you know, I'd rather die happy. I'd rather live life the way I want to, which is eat what I want and live how I want. And I'm like, well, you're on 40 days and won't be able to travel because, you know, with your health situation. So how do you talk to people? Maybe do you know them?
Yeah. So first thing is that someone's got to be willing to listen. And then the second thing is, and this is a question that I pose to everyone. There is no easy way out of this game. So you can deal with the challenges that come with declining health, or you can deal with the challenges that come with a commitment to improving health over the long run. So if having that McDonald's cheeseburger is more important to you than spending time with your potential grandchildren or traveling to your bucket list place, if that food choice is more valuable to you than the time and energy you can give to your family, your community, your loved ones, that's your choice. But either way, you have to choose. You want the challenge of declining health, or do you want the challenge of committed health? Either way, they're both hard. Pick your hard.
Yes, I love that. I hear David in there, and I hear like, you pay now, pay later, right? Pay your dues now.
Correct. Right. But
okay, we got to do a part 2 because there's just so much I haven't been asked you, and we've got time. Let me do lightning round. These are questions to get to know Eric a little bit better. And before we do that, I'm going to just share some resources that Eric has been so generous in sharing. So we have the ericmabie.com. Let me do a screen share over here so people can find out more about your products and more about your program here. So let me just go to your homepage. So if you want a consultation, is this book? Is that what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this gets to book a call with you, right? I think that's what that is.
Yep.
Okay, great. And then he also has another free wellness tool at beacon.com, beacons.ai, and then /maybe.holistic health. And you can find out different protocol, sleep and hormone. You can find a song at every age blueprint. So there's some low ticket offerings, $27, $50. And then if you want something for free, adding life to yours, a simple secret to health after 5 for free. And if you want to connect with Eric, socials, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, or his online store that we earlier, feel free to go to that. So go to beacons.ai /ericmabie.holistic health. Okay, back to our regular programming. We're going to do the lightning round. And these are just fun questions to get to know Eric Mabie. So, health and wellness philosophy were a hashtag, what would it be?
For me?
Yeah.
Hashtag 4 pillars.
4, love it. Very congruent to about. Morning must have protein shake, prayer.
Morning what?
Morning must-haves. Either a protein shake, prayer, or movement.
Prayer / breath work.
Prayer / what did you say?
Breath work.
Okay, breath work. Gotcha. What's one health fad that makes you cringe every time you hear it?
CrossFit.
Okay, interesting. People swear by it, right? And,
oh God.
What? Okay, tell a little bit more about that. What is it that makes you cringe about it?
It's the culture of the people don't understand biomechanics, and people also don't understand deep abdominal wall and spinal stabilization.
So are you saying that it's basically hurting them because they're doing all these weird?
I rehab. I have 5 CrossFit gyms around my facility, and I rehab participants all the time, knee injuries, back injuries, because again, there's no assessment done before the loading. And it's like taking your car to a racetrack before you have a highly qualified mechanic assess the durability of your race car, of your car.
Okay.
Except it's your body. You wouldn't do that you wouldn't just take your car to a racetrack and max out its effort. You would have it evaluated, assessed, and then developed to where you could then take it to the track. But CrossFit takes it right to the track. And again, CrossFit's the most widely known. P90X, all the big movements, sexy, glamorous, push, kill, destroy movements that I call them, they all just destroy people's bodies because no one understands the proper development of the body and how to assess it and how to develop it.
That's really interesting. I know people who do that. I don't do it myself. That they find that's very, very enticing is the community.
Yeah, and that's great for your soul, but you don't have to destroy your body in order to have community.
Interesting. Okay, because they don't understand the biomechanics. So CrossFit, PX, and the people who are doing these things, they're not keeping you in business, but it's creating business for you. Actually have participants injuries because they're not understanding the proper biomechanics. Okay, cheat food or dessert food or comfort food that you'll never.
That all what?
What's a cheat food or that you'll never give up or hard to give up?
Organic dark chocolate.
Organic. Okay. Is there any cheat food that's on that have a hard time resisting?
No, I'm the master of my thoughts.
Oh, so no, you don't unhealthy foods that you would be like tempted for?
Over the last 30 years of just working on improving my health, all of those desires and they just fade away over time. You don't want them anymore. I'm
impressed. So my kryptonite is ice cream. Is there ice cream that is actually good for you?
Well, so ice cream was, again, I have had major love of ice cream was my last to go. And so then I transitioned from dairy to organic coconut milk ice cream. So if you, there's tons of brands out there now. I just use an organic coconut milk or cashew milk ice cream. That is one of the better ones, but there's still a bunch of, there can be a lot of sugar in it, and just eating that stuff usually at nighttime doesn't serve how I feel in the morning. So again, I used to eat a carton, a big carton of ice cream at one sitting all the time until my mid-30s. And then I'm like, this doesn't really feel great anymore.
So are you saying cashew milk ice cream or coconut milk ice cream is good for you or alternative?
It's the best alternative to dairy ice cream. And it tastes great. I mean, there's amazing products out there now that are organic, coconut milk based, and they're good. I mean, again, consuming a food that doesn't have a ton of nutrition in it is what it is. But as far as ice creams go, it's the best way to go. I tell people to raise the bottom.
What do you mean by that? Raise the bottom?
Meaning if you're going to have a cheeseburger, don't get it from McDonald's, don't get it from here. Make your own organic grass-fed burger, and now it's actually healthy.
Love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Last question. If you could tell your 25-year-old self something about how you went back into teaching, what would it be?
Balance all factors, because I used to push, kill, and destroy myself as a very competitive athlete. And I realized that feeling good is not about, it's like leave your ego at the door, and that the point of training is to feel better, not to max out your lift.
Because what happens when you do that?
You will inevitably get hurt.
And there's chronic pain.
Yeah, chronic pain. And now you've created a new health issue for your body to deal with.
Huh. Interesting. Wow. Okay. I learned a lot. That's why I feel like the podcast, I know we're recording live. This is just for me. So if this helped me, I'm sure it can help a lot of different people, because I'm on this journey of becoming, someone with infinite energy, someone with brain, remove brain fog, super clear, very charismatic, and being fully present for my wife and 3 kids, and, faith in my church and the way that I want to give. So thank you so much, Eric, for your time. And you inspired me with so much, and back to the 4 pillars and so many nuggets that I'm going to take back and go back on my notes. So Eric inspires you to take charge of your health, overcome burnout, and live fully. If you guys want to learn more about his programs, go to ericmabie.com. And you can also find more in terms of some resources to help you with your health and wellness goals. beacons.ai/ericmabie.holistic-health. And if to increase your business growth, scale your sales without the sleaze, then reach out to me. I'm here to help you to sell more, to give more. So again, Eric, what an amazing time. And I'm looking forward to the part 2. Thank you so much for your time. What is would say as you part words for people who are, you know, they're suffering from ailments, chronicness, they haven't worked out, and they just like, you know what, for you to say that, you're like healthy and all that, but start.
What was the very end of the question?
They don't know where to start, and they're feeling heavy, they're feeling sluggish, and they don't feel motivated. Yeah. What would you say to them?
Yeah, step 1, work on yourself. Work on your mental, emotional, spiritual well-being. That is the root of us, and it's often overlooked. And so finding books that inspire mental, emotional, spiritual growth is really, because without that spark or that seed to nurture, you're not going to have the inner fortitude to move forward with what you need to in terms of action.
Yeah, and I think just as a bookend, I think Eric, you mentioned earlier, 97% of your mindset helps you get the transformative results that you're looking for, and so that it is possible. So thanks once again thanks for educating me, thanks for helping me understand the things I'm not doing right, that I should be doing, and the things that I'm doing all that are kind of affirming you know, some of the good things that I'm also doing. So once again, appreciate you, and looking forward to part 2. We will say bye, and until the next time, looking forward to our next call.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate your time.
Okay, you too.